A former WWE champion looks set to make their All Elite Wrestling debut, but first we have an update on the new AEW contracts of the Elite. In our news video earlier today, we would discuss a fresh report from Sports Illustrated that broke the news that Kenny Omega, Hangman Page, and the Young Bucks had all signed brand new deals with All Elite Wrestling that will keep them with the company for many years to come. While we now have a new report from Fightful Select that reveals some backstage details behind the deal, with them first providing a time frame for how long the contracts could be. The report notes that one of the deals is at least 4 years long, although it's unclear which contract this is, or if they all align lengthwise. With that said, the deals are said to have been completed over the last couple of weeks. The report would also confirm that there was interest from WWE in bringing in all 4 members of the Elite if the opportunity were to present itself, and Fightful would write, numerous sources within WWE indicated that they would have had interest in any and all members of the group. There were some people within WWE that felt like they stood a chance at potentially landing the group, but serious talks were never engaged as far as we know. Those we spoke to in WWE said that the company had positive experiences in dealing with Omega and the Bucks in 2018. In regard to a possible agreement for a feud between the Elite and CM Punk to play off the real-life events of All Out 2022, there has in fact been some movement regarding a potential rematch between the Young Bucks and Punk's real-life friends, FTR. However, Fightful haven't heard anything about CM Punk being brought into the mix as of yet. Regarding CM Punk, his return is said to have slowed down contract renegotiations with the Elite, with conversations taking place on how things would work out going forward, given the situation. The report confirms that all 4 men were represented by notorious wrestling agent Barry Bloom, who also represents Bill Goldberg, Chris Jericho, and many more. But do you think the Elite signing new deals takes us one step closer to CMFTR versus the Elite, or will we be limited to the Young Bucks versus FTR only? Let me know in the comments down below. And next up, a current AEW talent has discussed retiring from their on-screen role. Since the launch of AEW Dynamite, former WCW announcer Tony Schiavone has been on the commentary booth on a consistent basis, with him also taking on a talent relations role backstage in the company. Speaking on his What Happened When podcast this week, Tony would discuss what will happen when he hangs up his headset for good, revealing he wants to continue working backstage when he does so, and he would say, "No, I'd still want to work backstage. I'd like to have a baseball bat and whack guys in the ass with it when they wouldn't get their work done. I'd like to kind of do what I'm doing now, and that is work in talent relations, because I think I know how to handle people, and I do." Schiavone would then discuss his role backstage in AEW, revealing that he has a tricky job on his hands, and said, "I'm not the only one who works in talent relations, there's like 3 of us. It's a very tricky job because everybody's different, you have to approach people differently, you have to be receptive to their ideas, and you have to kind of be sympathetic to their feelings. Right now I handle every gripe and complaint that a wrestler has kind of goes through me, and I try to settle it as best I can. If it ends up between 2 wrestlers, we probably need to go over my head with it or get other people involved, but I like dealing with talent, I really do. I think part of that is because the talent I'm dealing with now all kind of watched me as they were growing up, so they have a respect for me." Next up, a former AEW World Champion has been pulled from an upcoming show. On August 3rd, Jon Moxley was once again set to return to Wrestling Revolver in Dayton, Ohio, a show that will also see Matt Cardona, Alex Shelley, and Leo Rush all in attendance. With that said, Mox has now taken to the Revolver Twitter page to confirm that he is no longer able to wrestle on the show due to circumstances beyond our control, with him then nominating fellow AEW star Konosuke Takeshita as his hand-picked replacement. There's no word on exactly why Moxley is unable to work the event, however there is concern that he may also be kept off AEW shows due to the same reason as why he was pulled from the indie show. With that said, we'll keep you updated on the status of Mox as things become clearer. And next up, Tony Khan has given an injury update on 2 absent AEW stars. As we head closer to the AEW All In London show, the promotion find themselves missing 2 major players that would have no doubt played a key role at Wembley, those being Bryan Danielson and former AEW Women's World Champion and England's own Jamie Hayter. Speaking with Mike Johnson of PW Insider this week, AEW President Tony Khan would be asked about the status of both Danielson and Hayter, and he would reveal, There is a little more clarity as to when Bryan Danielson will be back from his injury. I'm very excited to get Bryan back. I don't want to put a timetable because it's a challenging injury and a tough recovery, but I'm very confident Bryan will be back later this year. I'm still not sure when Jamie Hayter will be cleared. She doesn't know and we don't know, but hopefully sooner rather than later. Bryan, I'm very confident you'll see in a matter of months. A recent report from Fightful Select would reveal the unfortunate news that Jamie Hayter looks set to miss the rest of 2023 due to her current injuries, although we may see the American Dragon back on screens before the new year. And next, who sold the most WWE merchandise last month? Over recent months, the groundswell of support behind WWE superstar LA Knight has continued to grow, with fans still waiting for the promotion to put rocket straps on the former $1 million champion. According to a report from Brandon Thurston of WrestleNomics, Knight's crowd reactions are reflected in merchandise sales, as in the month of July, he sold the most items of anyone else in the company. The list reveals that LA Knight is leading the charge, with Cody Rhodes in at number 2, followed by the Usos and Roman Reigns in that order. We now have to wait and see if his obvious popularity begins to reflect with his on-screen booking, with Knight set to enter the Slim Jim Battle Royal this weekend at SummerSlam, a match many expect him to win, although the same was said for the Men's Money in the Bank ladder match and the recent United States Championship Invitational Tournament. Next up, a former WWE champion looks set to make their All Elite Wrestling debut. On the July 19 episode of AEW Dynamite, Jack Perry would dethrone FTW champion Hook after turning on his tag partner in the weeks leading up to the match. Last week on Dynamite, ECW legend Jerry Lynn would confront Perry, with the two men set to once again come face to face tonight, leading to speculation that Lynn could bring somebody with him to challenge Perry for the former ECW belt. Well, we now have an update from Fightful Select, who have revealed that a former WWE and ECW champion looks set to become All Elite, with potential plans in place for a match at either All In or All Out. According to Fightful, there has been internal discussions over the AEW debut of Rob Van Dam, with an FTW championship match penciled in for one of the two huge shows, and the report notes, "The whole effing show just might be on the biggest effing show outside of WWE in history. Fightful Select have learned that there has been internal discussions regarding possibly bringing in former WWE champion Rob Van Dam. Specifically, one of the ideas that we heard mentioned is him facing FTW champion Jack Perry at All In or All Out, though none of that is confirmed as of yet. The 52-year-old Rob Van Dam hasn't wrestled on US TV in nearly 3 years since leaving Impact Wrestling. However, he's stayed semi-active, competing every year since 1990 and even working a Noah date in 2022. There's no word on exactly when the new Mr. Wednesday Night will turn up on screens. However, he looks to become the third ECW alumni that Perry has targeted, joining the list of Taz and Jerry Lynn. But what do you make of AEW's newest potential signing? Let me know in the comments down below. And before you go, make sure you check out 10 facts that MJF doesn't want you to know.